like my guy Joe says, you bet on traits, right? So you bet on those traits, but that's with the understanding of, yes, he's behind those other guys, but I think he can get the job done.
Need to have a conversation about Trevor Penning, Northern Iowa offensive tackle, 6'07", 327 pounds, 34 1/8 inches on the arms. But most surprising, this dude at 327 ran a 4.91 verified at the 2022 NFL Combine. So the athletic profile of a guy who plays a really mean brand of football, Dre. How do you liken his transition from Northern Iowa to the NFL based on what you've seen in this pre-draft process?
You know, I think that he is someone who has enjoyed a great postseason, right? I mean, he's played well during the Senior Bowl, or he's earned the right to be in the first round conversation more than any player, man. And this is someone from a physical standpoint, man. He's big, he's long, he's tough, he's physical, and is nasty, man. He's a great finisher, right? And those are things that are very obvious on tape, and I think that he proved during the Senior Bowl week and so forth he could play left tackle. So I don't think there are any concerns about him there. There are a few things that I do have some questions about in terms of his post play things, as far as like being too aggressive and so forth, which will get him in trouble at the next level. But I do think that's something that can be coached out of him. But he is physical, nasty, he's long, and I think he showed the ability to move good enough to play left tackle in the National Football League. So
I want to ask the collective this question, because it's one of the ones that I know is pretty pressing when it comes to Penning. There's questions. There's no doubt he'll move you in the run game. There's no doubt he's going to play through the echo at the end of the whistle. The questions that I consistently see with Trevor Penning is regards to how he plays as a pass protector. And I know we've had the debate as a group, would you have a heavy run blocker or a heavy pass protector who's compromised on the other side? How do you guys see Trevor Penning in pass protection? Because I think the answer there is probably going to explain why we have him in this stratosphere as a prospect.
I'll go first because I believe that I had the lowest grade on Trevor Penning, and a big part of it had to deal with that, right? And that was the pass protection. I think that he's a good athlete, and you see that he's a really good athlete to be able to run a 4.9 at that size. But I think there's a lot of development he has to do in his pass rush sequence as far as getting depth and being able to redirect vertically along that plane. I seen him open the gate a lot very quickly. It was probably 2 steps and then open the gate. I'm not sure that's something he'll be able to do in the NFL, so I think he's going to have to take probably a year to really develop. But, I mean, you see the guy move, and he's like, you know what, I think he can really get it done. So, like my guy Joe says, you bet on traits, right? So you bet on those traits, but that's with the understanding of, yes, he's behind those other guys, but I think he can get the job done.
He's got raw hand placement at times, where he's kind of wide-handed, leaving his chest open, kind of throws, can mess with his balance, his ability to anchor. We saw some of that at the Senior Bowl too, where he kind of allowed some guys to drive him backwards and kind of mess with his footwork, where he was able to plant his feet and create a solid base. But that's coachable. So, you know, he's kind of shrank his target in terms of when he punches, and I think his punch timing can improve as well. You know, when being so tall and long, you got a wide net. When these guys you don't have to let them get so close to you to where once it's just like boxing. Being a taller boxer, and you have a shorter guy. Shorter guys get inside, they're tearing your ribs up. So it's like that's kind of how I look at it with him, is just improve his punch timing, improve his punch his landmarks and where he throws his punches. And I think he'll improve as a pass protector.
And I just to add to it, I think that those things that both Damian and Keith mentioned, I think those things are all improved with pro coaching, which kind of leaves me with the thought that he will continue to improve. I mean, because he is playing at a very small school, and I think that his showing during the week of the Senior Bowl, along with projecting him with pro coaching, leaves me optimistic about his future.
I agree, Jay. I wanted to ask you this, though. Obviously, you being in the NFL and everything, would you start him off at right tackle and move him to left tackle, or do you start him off at left tackle, kind of a baptism by fire type thing, let him get adjusted and figuring it out?
I think you start him off, man, at left tackle, right? Because if you move him to the from right into left, he has to change his footwork, and it's totally different. Like some people have a hard time transitioning from the right side to the left. So just start him off at left tackle with the understanding that he will take his lumps, and just hopes that he continues to improve.
Joe, what do we do here?
Bet on traits.
We bet on the traits, and that's why Trevor Penning, with all the traits in the world, finds himself in the first round of our valuation process.